The slave master, realizing the brutality of the dragons, immediately motioned for his slaves to present 2 chests of heavy gold as tribute and promised to give Daenerys 1,000 warships, only asking that she leave the area. If the gold was not enough, he was willing to offer 100 more chests on the condition that Daenerys would no longer interfere with the affairs of Yunkai. Daenerys was tempted by the offer, but looking at the slave kneeling beside her, she presented her own condition. All noblemen must free their slaves and pay them a corresponding wage. The slave master thought Daenerys was mad. He firmly believed that Yunkai was not a weak city, and behind its high walls were powerful allies. They would win the war, and Daenerys would eventually become his slave. Seeing him being so unreasonable to Dany, Drogon roared at him.
You swore me safe conduct.
I did. But my dragons made no promises, and you threatened their mother.
The angry slave master terminated the negotiations and ordered his slaves to carry the gold away. But Drogon suddenly lunged out to guard the gold, a sight that filled Daenerys with pride.
My gold. You gave it to me, remember?
The nobleman was furious, but could only depart silently. Since the negotiations had broken down, the nobles began preparing their army for a confrontation with Daenerys, and also hired a mercenary company called the Second Sons. The Second Sons were purely mercenary, willing to do anything for enough gold. Although they had only 2,000 men, they were well equipped and battle-hardened. So Daenerys summoned the 3 leaders of the Second Sons, planning to buy them out with more gold. However, the leaders were uninterested and even openly insulted her. At this point, Daenerys' resolve was firm, and she paid no mind to their mockery. Daenerys questioned them. You have only 2,000 men, while I possess 8,000 unsullied and 3 young dragons. How can you defeat me?
The Second Sons have faced worse odds than won.
The Second Sons have faced worse odds and run.
A fortnight ago I had no army. A year ago I had no dragons.
The leaders remained unmoved after hearing this and continued to speak insults. Grey Worm moved to discipline them but was immediately stopped by Daenerys. Daenerys gave them 2 days to reconsider, but as one of the leaders departed, he brazenly insulted Missandei.
I'm looking for you when this is over.
Sir Barristan, come